Hi folks, welcome back to A Case of Distrust. We are leaving Southern Coffee, I guess, for a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm not really sure where we're going. Oh,
yeah,
wait.
well, here we go.
I was heading up the stairs when Frankie called after me.
So what are you gonna do?
I'd been thinking.
About little Fanny? About my sister? About little Fanny, I guess?
Oh, little Fanny. I've been thinking about little Fanny. I suppose even mobsters had people who cared about them, and she'd been wearing Lewis's old jacket, so perhaps Green and Lewis had been closer than I'd realized. I guess I'll take Connor Green's bait, I replied. I've got nothing better on the stove, and he might need the help. Something still stinks, though. Something still stinks. 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 There it is.
Okay, alright.
I had to prove it to myself.
Okay, I'm proud of you. Well, what's your plan?
Frankie asked. The way I see it, I have 3 goals right now. Nice, we're gonna get goals. Green hired me for a job. Find the guy who wrote the letter. That's the basic part.
But you want more?
Asked Frankie. I nodded. Green's a shady character. I have to learn about him. Who is this guy? Dig in his past. I can't go back to him blind. And then there's something about the bootlegging. How'd Green get a connection like that? What's his source exactly? Squeezing that lemon might give me some more juice.
That sounds alright,
He replied.
So where is it you're off to?
I've got 3 leads. That bootlegger stable, who Green claims sent him the letter. The Tin Spoon Lounge, where I might learn more about Green's rum-running schemes. And Mrs. Green, who could give me more dirt on her husband. Frankie nodded his approval.
Well, if you're ever stuck, come back and see me. You can never solve anything without talking it over.
I smiled and went up the stairs. Nice.
Cool.
So this is it.
Yeah.
He's just like a resource.
So we can just go
I was
places.
debating where to go
Tin
next.
Spoon?
Tin Spoon. The Tin Spoon Lounge was a peaky in North Beach.
Speaky.
You are correct. Was a speaky in North Beach run by Tiny Paul, the gangster that Green had put in with. I'd never been there. The mob keeps a tight lip on their own houses, but I figured it would be a good place to chase Green's bootlegging story. Go here. Yes.
Very cool.
I hailed the driver, gave him the address, and stepped through the back door. I debated talking with the driver.
Let's see what this driver's like.
The driver started talking about the latest films.
Have you seen the 10 Commandments?
Yes, excitedly. I admitted I hadn't.
There's this scene, okay, that where Moses parts the sea, and the Israelites walk through the part. I mean, they walk across completely, you hear? I don't mean that, I don't mean in the story, but in the film itself. Just a group of actors in between mountains of water. It looks so real. I melted in my seat. How did they do it? And it had these colors, right?
He continued.
They were so vivid. The whole scene is blue when it's dark or orange when it's hopeful. I haven't seen anything like it. It's been strange. Less than half the film is about Moses. I mean, you call the thing the 10 Commandments. You expect it to be the old story. And it is. But then there's a long stretch about these brothers, John and Danny. And this John guy is greedy and Danny's nice. And of course, in the end, John gets what's coming to him. Weird way to tell the story, though. Anyhow.
He ended.
We're here. But you should really check out the flick. Considering how much
how much he just told me about it, I felt I didn't need it anymore. Have you seen the 10 Commandments?
I have not.
I haven't either. It's one of those, like, important films, I guess.
Yeah, but I've just never seen it.
Yeah. It's because we have Prince of Egypt.
I was literally about to say, but I have seen Prince of Egypt, so...
Real quick, I know this is visual for us, but look outside. It's like orange.
It's really weird looking.
It's a really... Sorry, we're by a window and the world is orange right now.
It's like that stormy sunset.
Yeah, very strange. Huh, okay.
Is it like red sky at night, sailor's delight, red sky in morning, sailor's take warning, or something like that?
No idea what you just said, but yeah.
Okay, you keep reading. I've got another thing to look up.
Oh yeah, Gina, our dramaturg, our researcher.
That's my job.
I opened the cab door in front of a North Beach warehouse with a wooden sign. The sign's text was too worn for me to decipher any of its English, but a small gray spoon was still visible below the letters.
Shepherd's delight. Red sky at night, shepherd's delight. Red sky in morning, shepherd's morning.
Okay.
So.
What, like, does that have something to do with crops or how animals react to it?
Oh no, it is sailors. I was freaking right. Let's see.
I bet it's one of those sayings that kind of exist in a bunch of different ways.
Let me see.
I rapped my knuckles twice over the large metal door. A panel just above my head slid sideways to reveal a pair of eyes. The eyes looked me up and down, then just stared ahead. They were black and had no emotion. The room beyond was dimly lit, so I couldn't see much of their surrounding face. I cleared my throat. Then a rumbling voice emerged from behind the bar. It's you, Gina. You're everyone except me.
Rumbling voice. Yeah, but I've already done a low voice.
Let me shake you while you talk. You ready? Go.
Fill your cups, fill no distress.
Is someone shaking you right now? Why are you moving like that?
At all our great thoughts shrinking less.
I looked at the eyes, still unmoving. I understood. The doorman wanted a password. I thought I might have something in my notes that could help. I don't think I do now.
We have no password. All right, we can leave here. Nah.
Yeah, we'll go get a password.
Yeah.
Okay. Oop. Wait, isn't just the fact that we need one.
Yeah.
So we can use that to ask
Let's go talk
somebody.
to Miss Green then first.
Stay silent. I stayed silent. After the beat, the small window slid shut with a thud. Prohibition was a joke in San Francisco, and most speakeasies would let just about anyone through the door, but the mob ones weren't as relaxed with their rules. I knew I wouldn't enter until I'd said the correct response. I wonder who I could ask about the speakeasy password.
Leave.
Nice.
Yeah. Miss Green then first? Yeah.
Let's go to the Green's house. Green's house might contain more clues about his past, or for some reason a threatening letter would come his way. If I got lucky, Mrs. Green would be there to pump with more questions. Yeah, let's pump her full of questions. Just one little grunt.
That's my full feeling on the matter. In case you were wondering, red sky at night, sailor's delight. When you see a red sky at night, this means that the setting sun is sending light through a high concentration of dust particles. This usually indicates high pressure and stable air coming from the west. Basically, good weather will follow.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's not true for us, though.
Nope,
because it's going to rain for the next, week and a half.
Almost definitely.
Yeah, it's already not orange now, though.
Yeah, that was interesting, though.
Yeah. I stepped into the taxi and rocked into a comfortable position on the back seat. I thought about starting a chat with the driver.
Okay.
Long shift? I asked. Exhaled the driver, with as much gravel as a cement mixer.
Been on the road 6 hours. Probably pulling another 6 before I go to the missus. Seems like a waste. I waste away in this taxi while the boss just overflows his coffers.
I kept him talking?
I guess. Do we want to keep talking to this poor man?
I have this weird feeling that there's going to be some information you can only get from talking in a taxi, and you have to, let yourself talk. It's possible. I could be wrong, but I feel like it might give you, hints or something.
Yeah.
If you, continue to do it, if you get the right driver.
I don't disagree. I just feel bad for this man.
Me as well. I kept him talking, and he complained about his life for a while. He ended with,
"But it's the same shit for all working fools, isn't it? They tell us we have a hope, but then the rich make the rules, and only the rich break them too. I can't read today in any person. It's a good thing I'm not the primary narrator. I've been reading Henry R. Carey. Fellow thinks a lot about this. Says America is ruled in secret by rich men, and the wise leaders don't get to the top and ain't encouraged to do so."
You know? So what's your way out? He smiled.
"Keep reading. Stay sharp. Become one of the rich men. The great thing about America, anyone can get there."
I
disagreed.
Do you want to disagree?
I mean, we're a struggling female detective, so...
Yes, but also I think she's proud of the fact that she has this position and is hoping to do more with it. Because we chose I want to change the world, I kind of want her to agree because I think she's more doe-eyed.
Okay.
And, I feel like there's a future, you know? Okay. It just goes with kind of the person we've already set out with. I agreed with him. "The power of the free market," I said. "You get out what you put in."
See, I just disagree.
I do, but I think she doesn't.
Okay.
The cab driver smiled and nodded.
"Anyhow," he
said,
"we've arrived. You have a good one, miss." I
thanked him and left the taxi cab. I also think this is the 20s when the American dream was, highest, in, I think, the public, vision and domain.
I guess.
The Green's apartment was a section of the old Western Addition mansion. The owners had divided it for struggling families to rent after the 1906 fire. Once downtown had been rebuilt, people of means moved out of the area. Recent immigrants, mainly from Japan, rented most of the apartments in this part of the town. Ooh. I
Oh,
knocked
this
on
is
the
so pretty.
Yeah, I love this color too. I knocked on the front door but didn't get a response. The latch was undone, so I pushed it open and stepped into the room.
The apartment had a dense cloud. The room reeked of laudanum.
What is laudanum?
It's like a I think it's a depressant. but
Dramaturg?
I'm looking it up, but I think it's a depressant.
I'm going to choose that one though. It might tell us more about it.
Okay.
The room reeked of laudanum. Based on the smell, I imagine she'd
Yeah, it's
been...
morphine.
Yeah, she'd had enough opium to knock out a horse. Let's look at everything else first. Correct.
It's a very strong narcotic.
The gray trench coat was hanging in the doorway. It certainly looked identical to Lewis's. I searched the pockets and found no identifying marks. It might have been a different jacket, but its recent appearance was off-putting.
Let's see.
The bottles on top of the round table were mostly empty. Bad sign. I opened the drawer of the backmost table. In it were 2 train tickets. I mumbled, St. Louis, to myself, but then came the crackling voice of Mrs. Green.
Forget about moving, Connor. I won't budge.
Her head was raised, but her eyelids still remained closed. Let's ask her. I asked her further questions, but her head just lolled back to where it had been. There was nothing else she'd say.
Okay.
Please be okay.
Yeah.
The ashtray on top of the smallest table was overflowing with spent cigarettes.
There's a bottle on the floor.
Empty bottles were strewn around the apartment. I brought one to my nose and smelled the distinct aroma of laudanum, opium mixed with booze, a harsh tonic.
That's rough.
Yeah. A wilting plant was on the furthest table from the door. I could never keep plants alive either. Even as the petals fell, they were still vibrant yellow.
Interesting. Can we look at that thing? Nope. Okay,
Nope.
let's just click on her then.
All right, your turn. We're not going to get much out of her. I found Miss Green slumped in her chair, eyes closed, head rocking slowly. Hello, Miss Green, I said loudly. She let out a long moan, Gina, from the chair, then lifted her head, but failed to raise her eyelids. She tilted her head to the side, giggled, and let it loll back into place. I shook her lightly, and she moaned again, but she said nothing more.
Well,
I guess that's that.
is that everything in here?
Can I give you something? Is that the exact same?
I think it's the exact same.
Interesting.
Yeah. What about the door?
Wonder if I can
I don't think we have anything to help her sober up or anything like that.
Yeah, that was my question.
I'm not sure we have anything here.
I guess we leave?
Yeah.
Interesting. Alright, well, we have one more place to go to.
Yeah. I mean, I guess part of this is just figuring out what we have to work with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The frame was just warped enough to prevent the front door from, closing.
Okay.
Stable's barbershop.
Exactly.
Green had suspected Redstone Stable of sending him that letter. Apparently, Stable owned a barbershop in the financial district. I figured there would be no harm in asking Stable about it directly.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, nice. I gave my address and slouched in the back seat of the taxi cab. I thought a good way to pass the journey might be to chat with the driver.
Sure.
Went to the Palace of Fine Arts.
The driver said when I asked about his weekend.
They were his weekend, whatever.
Whatever.
They were holding a guest gallery. My girl is a big Georgia O'Keeffe fan. Myself, I don't get all this new stuff. What's so hard about painting some wavy lines?
For the rest of the trip, he spoke about the other artwork that... He spoke about... You know when you get lost and you're just like, I'm not even reading anymore.
I do, in fact, know that.
I'm looking at a square.
Pieces from Charles Sheeler.
Yeah, pieces from Charles Sheeler, Louis Lozowick, Edward Steichen, and many more. I was sad to have missed it. But when we stopped at my destination, I left my envy in the taxi cab and refocused on the case at hand. The barbershop was down an alley in the financial district opposite the red brick National Bank. Nothing you can click on. Okay.
There, yeah. Hello?
The small bell above the door twinkled as I walked in.
Ooh,
Very cool.
this is very cool. What is that?
Is that a door? Stable's cabinet was similar to my own. But where mine was a dull gray metal, his was deep red wood that looked heavy. Barber chair? The modern hydraulic barber chair had always seemed ostentatious to me, but this one, with its soft brown cushions and gold embroidery, was the most ornate I had ever seen.
Dang. Fancy barbershop.
Yeah. The two sides of the mirror frame were cylindrical, painted blue, red, and white to look like the barber's poles. They clashed with the otherwise elegant furnishings. The frame on the back wall contained a yellowed photograph of an old man. He had an authentic smile and held scissors in his left hand.
Can we click on this couch thing? over
Almost
here?
definitely. The maroon leather chair looked comfortable. It seemed elaborate for a barbershop waiting chair. Is that it?
Nope.
The hat rack was a deep mahogany, engraved with gold lettering that read Fraser & Co. Furnishings.
Interesting. That's a new name. Hey,
man.
bud.
There was a tall man in the center of the room. He was wearing a flamboyant pink suit, tailored to accentuate his stature, with a maroon bow tie and pocket square. I gathered this was Redstone Stable. That is a look!
That is an awesome look.
Redstone, that's a look!
Yeah, no kidding.
Yes. I wish I could look cool. Yeah!
Wow.
The man turned to face me. He grinned, and his squinting blue eyes made the smile feel genuine.
I must apologize.
He said.
We do not take walk-ins.
I told him why I was there.
Asked him for a chop, told him why
Or
I was there,
study
study
his
his
face.
face. Study his face? Ooh.
Ooh, you got weird gums. I studied his face. The wrinkles around his eyes indicated he was at least 40, but the rest of his skin was clean and smooth. He wore no hat and shaved his head completely bald. When combined with his smooth skin, it hinted at the look of a small turtle. His pink suit and maroon accessories only added to his eccentricity. He smiled and said,
How foolish of me. Of course, you are here for information, Miss Malone.
How about a drink? I asked how he knew my name. I noted his smooth voice. How do you know my name?
Sure.
Click. Click. I asked how he knew my name. He tisked a few times and said,
That is a dull retort. You know you are not a standard detective. Please do not act as mundane as all of the other sleuths.
He sighed, but put a smile back onto his face.
Yet perhaps you are here of matters of interest. What is it that you want?
Let's get a password, why don't we? You want to see if he knows it?
Yeah. Might as well.
I showed him something, he went, nope.
Yeah, he's not related to that, is the challenge. Barbershop.
Picture frame?
I mean... So, the reason we're here is to get information about the letter. So is there a way to ask about the letter without asking about the letter? Or we can ask about the small black hand, because if they didn't send the letter, then we have information.
The small black hand?
Yeah, it was signed with only with a small black hand. The bottom right corner.
Do we ask?
I don't know. Might as well.
I hope that wasn't bad. That sound was like, you did something. I pulled Green's note from my pocket and showed it to him, but I didn't let him hold it. Green tells me this letter is from you, I told him. He doesn't like threats. Stable lowered his head to study the note, then chuckled. His knowing grin returned to his face.
But this is a black letter hand.
He
Backhand letter.
He said, flourishing a hand towards the paper.
Have you ever seen a black hand letter, Miss Malone?
I confessed I hadn't.
Exactly. You should ring. You should ring your friend Shipman. At the station, if that's what it means.
We haven't met Shipman. Sam Shipman had been one of our I keep thinking I'm saying Shipman. Had been one of my uncle's regular partners in the vice rackets. I wondered what Shipman could have wanted, or could have had to do with Green's case. Stable seemed to think he had a lot to do with it. I pocketed the letter and continued with my questions, but I made a note to stop by the police's headquarters to see Shipman.
Well, Miss Malone, will there be anything else?
You want to look through our notes more next time?
Sure, I think that sounds good.
Okay, awesome. I'm dying for this game.
I am delighted by it. So I'm very, very glad that we've given this a shot.
Awesome. Then see you guys next time.
Okay, bye folks.
Bye.